Welcome once again to the DKA channel. I'm your host, Nurse David, and thank you for joining in today's episode where we are going to talk about the rising cases of nurses losing their jobs due to their social media posts. We are going to look at 4 cases where some nurses have lost their jobs due to their social media posts, without going into the nitty-gritties of it, because the goal of this channel is not to shame those nurses or look down on them, but rather to focus on the lessons that we can learn from their mistakes and how we can navigate this blurry thin line between our nursing career and what we can really talk about on social media without violating, let's say, hospital policies and laws governing patients' privacy. Without wasting much time, let's take a look at these stories that I was able to pull out from the internet and social media. The first one was one that I came across, that 4 nurses were fired for talking about their aches they have on the job in relation to patients and families, where these nurses took turns talking about things they don't like when patients and their family do at work. For example, one of them mentioned that they don't like it when they tell patient and family to use the call light, and either the patient or family keep coming to the desk every few minutes to make their request known. After making this post, their organization found out, and from my understanding, all 4 nurses that took turns in this video were fired. Another story that I saw was another nurse on TikTok that mentioned that she was a travel nurse in a facility and she did record a video without showing any patient information. However, when the video went out, some people were able to identify the hospital through the board that was in the room, and through that, she eventually lost her job. Another case is another nurse that said she was fired for talking bad about her co-workers and employer on social media. And eventually, when the employers found out, she was let go or fired because of the fact that she was talking ill about her co-workers and employer. Finally, is one that has gone viral recently of a nurse that went live on TikTok during her med pass. This one was a big one for me because I looked at it and I thought, what were you thinking? Right? Because the risk of exposing patient information is too high because it's live and you cannot edit those information out if they should go out. Secondly, you don't know who is going to walk into your frame, right? And like I said, you cannot edit those information or videos right away. But doing this video, she was so confident that she was not breaking any HIPAA laws. And I think this is a lesson that we can learn, that sometimes it is true that at the moment we might not be breaking HIPAA laws, but the risks are too high. And I watched one of her follow-up videos where she talks about regretting for going live during her med pass. But let's look at this whole thing of nurses being on social media and how they have to navigate this together with their nursing career without crossing some of these lines that will lead to a job loss. I think one of the things that even the American Nursing Association, which is ANA, mentioned is that nurses should know the rules and policies of their hospitals surrounding social media. But I think the best practice is actually to try as much as possible to avoid, using the name of your organization on your social media platform. One of the difficult ones for me is that sometimes we need these patient experiences to be able to actually make a point or discuss certain issues or challenges, or whether good or bad, in order to be able to make the point and get people to understand what you're saying. However, I think if it is something negative, it is best to really think carefully about how you present this information so it does not violate any HIPAA laws. And my view on this is that healthcare workers and nurses should try as much as possible to stay away from including your organizations or any negative things about patient or your employer on social media, because this can definitely lead to you losing your job or your license, or putting your license at risk, and you have to weigh whether it is worth it or not. I know getting the clicks and views on social media is very important to your social media growth, but is it really worth it? Because in the social media world as well, it's very unpredictable. And after going to school and studying so hard to earn your nursing license, would you want to just throw it away just because a certain thing you're going to say is going to give you the clicks and the views? But you have to remind yourself that these clicks and views may give you the opportunity to go viral. But if you are not able to make good use of it or take advantage of it to propel yourself to a place where it is sustainable, this career that you are putting at risk might be what may rescue you or continue to sustain you. So it is very important to really think about how, you're going to navigate what you present on social media, and at the same time protecting your license and responsibilities as a healthcare worker. Please put in the comments what you think about this issue, whether you think it is good for nurses to continue to be on social media, or what your thoughts are in regards to the increasing issues of nurses losing their jobs due to social media posts. As I mentioned, my thought on this is that nurses and healthcare workers should be very careful on what they post on social media, because I don't think that one viral moment is worth your license or your career. I think you can still be influential in your social media platform without exposing patient information or doing things that would put your license and career at risk. And another thing that I have noticed that some nurses do that sometimes raises concern for me is when I see nurses making social media videos at work where they are, let's say, climbing beds or using tools and equipment for patient care, like Foley catheters, urinals, syringes, and stuff like that, belonging to their employer in their social media videos. I think while some employers may be lenient in letting this pass without taking any action against the staff, you never know when an employer will decide to take an action just because you are at work on company's time and also wasting those resources. So I think it is very important for us to be very careful what kind of videos we make at work and even outside of work, especially when you're using things that you might have got from work. I think it is totally okay if you're making a video outside of work with tools and equipment that you purchase with your own money and having the receipt as a proof that these are not things that you got from your employer may be the best way to go about it, so that when your employer raises concerns or try to get you into trouble, you would be able to defend yourself. This is my opinion on this topic, and I think it's very important because I think even without social media, there is so much in our careers that put us at risk of losing our job and license, and that we have to pay attention to. So making a social media post as an additional risk to your license and your job, I think it's not worth it. And I would like to use this opportunity to tell my colleagues in the healthcare sector who are also doing social media that we should all be more careful and remind each other that there is a rising concern of our social media posts leading to job losses. And so we have to be careful about what we post online, and also remind ourselves that it is our duty and responsibility to protect our patient information, and also continue to rather say positive things about your coworkers and your employer. If you have negative things to say, I think the best way to do it is outside of social media, unless you are very sure that you are ready to lose your job or your license. Other than that, let's keep supporting each other and making sure we learn lessons from these things that happen to our colleagues, and continue to hope that they will find strength and also other opportunities that will allow them to have their careers back. Thank you once again for joining me on this episode. You should share your thoughts in the comment section of this video and let me know what you think about this issue and whatever advice you have for healthcare workers. And I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, this is the DKA channel.